Welcome back to the channel, Guardians. Fancy a brand new build to try out in any PvE content, whether that's Nightfalls, Lost Sectors, or even Dungeons and Raids? Hunters, take note of the Strand build that is literally nasty, capable of dealing massive damage to beefy targets, making you very difficult to kill, constantly regenerating ammo, and a very potent mob clearer. This video is split up into sections. Please check the timestamps in the description, including a sub 4 minute Lost Sector run on Legend difficulty, uninterrupted gameplay. Please drop a like on this video if you find it informative at any stage. Let's begin. So let's quickly discuss what this build does in principle. Combining the reworked Foetracer exotic helmet, the newly released Tessellation Exotic Fusion Rifle, and the new Strand tangle aspect, this build can obliterate champions and do significant damage to bosses, whilst having regular tangles that do massive damage over time, generating heavy ammo in abundance with a Strand build that can generate constant grenade energy to feed into the fusion for its alternate shot, and producing enough orbs of power to keep Woven Mail going, granting massive damage resistance. For those of you wanting a dim link, you will find it in the description. Let's break this down, peeps, starting with Foetracer. Cell functionality has been moved over to Knucklehead Radar and is now a very solid option for any hunter elemental build in the game. Dealing ability damage to major targets such as yellow bars, champions and bosses grants ×4 damage to weapons matching the ability element. In this instance, we are using a Strand subclass, and power meleeing a major with Threading Spike will grant all Strand weapons in your setup a whopping 25% damage buff, which lasts for 10 seconds. As you can see from my setup, all my weapon slots are covered with Strand weapons, thanks to a certain brand new fusion rifle that does an obscene amount of damage with Foetracer's buff active. Defeating targets that have been inflicted by Threaded Spike with Strand weapons spawn tangles also, just a cherry on top with this exotic rework. Next up, let's talk about weapons, starting with Tessellation. I recently uploaded a full review of this weapon, go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. TLDR for the audience, the weapon sits in the elemental slot and matches the element of your subclass, in this case Strand, enabling you to have a full Strand loadout. Alt firing consumes a full grenade and fires a slow traveling projectile that does massive impact and AoE damage for a special weapon capable of out-damaging aggressive frame rocket launchers and also regenerating grenade energy on kills. It inherits a 25% damage buff from Foetracer, making it capable of two-shotting champions in Legend difficulty, whilst nearly doing the job on stun champions in Master. Having the Widow's Silk aspect equipped will grant 2 grenade charges to play around with, and killing groups of 4 or more adds will fully recharge your grenade ability. It pairs nicely with the new Strand rocket launcher, Semiotician, which can roll explosive light, which also inherits the 25% damage buff. From a primary point of view, Strand options really depend on champion counters. Personally, with auto rifles being barrier counters this season, Perpetualis and Ruthless Fury do an excellent job at decent ranges, and also inherits Foetracer's buff. Depending on the champions you can encounter in activities, I usually swap out the rocket launcher for the circular logic machine gun for overload counters. Continuing with the rest of the Strand setup, the new hunter aspect is borderline incredible. Destroying tangles, which can be spawned via multiple methods such as ability kills, the Foetracer's elemental exotic perk, and other means, spawns a whirlwind surrounding the tangle that envelops combatants and does damage over time, traveling to new targets after defeating them. If you have not tried this out yet, I strongly recommend you do, as the damage this does is significant, and defeating targets unravels them, meaning if your tangle cooldown is up, it can spawn further tangles. From a fragment point of view, without Woven Mail, this build struggles, therefore warding is a non-negotiable for this build, granting Woven Mail on all pickup. Propagation grants all your Strand weapons unraveling rounds on Threaded Spike kills, whilst Regeneration grants grenade energy on simply dealing damage, and I tell you, your fidget tangles will get your grenade back in no time. Finally, and talking about tangles again, dealing damage with these grant melee energy. These fragments combine to give you multiple ways of getting ability energy whilst being able to spawn tangles in various ways. Are you enjoying this video and still with me? Great! Consider subscribing if you are new to the channel, drop a like for that algorithm, and if you want to go one step further, check out the membership section for bonus perks. If you want to know more, hit the link in the description. Moving on to mods, in order to get Woven Mail activated, we need orbs, and your Threaded Spike ability, alongside Strand weapon kills, will be the source of these, so slot Strand Siphon and heavy-handed mods to spawn these, which in turn feed into Strand weapon surge mods. I have 2 equipped on my setup, as there is the odd chance when stunning champions I realise I don't have melee energy, so having ×2 stacks helps with damage output. Impact Induction is very strong on this build also, as Threaded Spike can hit multiple targets, and each hit regenerates grenade energy, meaning more fuel for your Tessellation alternative shots. Finally, having recuperation mods for health on orb pickup paired with powerful attraction, which picks these up when dodging near one, makes up the set, meaning picking up orbs with this method grants a guaranteed ×2 strand surge, woven mail, and health, making you more lethal and very difficult to kill. Up until now, with the exception of champion handling, you can use this build anywhere. If you're watching during Season 22, the following seasonal perks enhance this build tenfold. For Tessellation, fusion rifles have unstoppable counters this season, whilst autos have the barrier roll. Finally, machine guns take the overload slots, and the aforementioned weapons earlier in the video cover these stuns. Whilst in the third column, Thanatotic Tangles. Yeah, try saying that 5 times fast. Grants yet another way of spawning tangles by simply getting strand weapon kills. In the fourth column, refreshing pickups grant ability energy to your least charged one when picking up tangles, whilst in the fifth, frenzy stacks infuse your fidget spinner tangles, making them deal even more damage when you have armor charges. Do not sleep on this perk as the damage output is extremely high. Finally, you will not need to worry about heavy ammo at all thanks to elemental munitions. Your fidget spinners have a chance to drop special and heavy on kill. Slap this whole build together and let your session do the rest. It's insanely fun to use and has got me a ton of Lost Sector solo clears, under level Lightblade Legend Nightfall clears, plus a ton of tier 3 Altars of Summoning. That's it for this video. Did you make it to the end? Great. Slap that like button if so, and consider subscribing to the channel. Next up, you have voted for a review of the rocket launcher which we mentioned in this video, Semiotician. We will review it in both PvE and PvP. Don't miss out. I'll leave you with Lost Sector gameplay. Enjoy the content. This was Plasma Alchemist. Your viewership is much appreciated. Until next time, see you later.
your guardian!